Hi friends, welcome to my kitchen. Today on How to Cook, we will be making chicken lo mein. This recipe is inspired by the recipe my parents use at their Chinese restaurant. Before we begin, check out the list of ingredients needed for today's recipe on the right side of your screen. You want to start by prepping all your vegetable and protein. This is probably the most time-consuming part of the recipe since it's a lot of slicing and dicing. I like to use carrot, celery, broccoli, and green onion as the main vegetables in this dish. But honestly, you can use whatever veggies you have on hand. I like having vegetables that have a bit more crunch, so it adds a lot of great texture to the lo mein dish. And it's also how my parents make it at their restaurant. You'll want to cut your carrots and celery into long, thin slices. Another term for this is julienne, but I am honestly not the best at this cut, so it takes me a bit longer to cut the veggies into long, thin pieces. If you're not confident in your knife skills or want to save some time, you could probably pick up some pre-sliced veggies in the salad section of your local grocery store. I've seen a lot of great salad and coleslaw kits that have an assortment of vegetables in it and could definitely be used in this recipe. It's really about time and preference. Personally, it took me only 7 minutes to slice up all the vegetables I needed for this recipe, so it doesn't take that long, but honestly, it's your preference. So for the green onion, I do two different types of cuts on this onion. So the first cut, with the part that's a little bit more white, I dice into smaller pieces so that I can use it in the chicken. And then for the green leafy part, I do 1-inch cuts so that I can use that for my noodles. In terms of protein, you really can use whatever you want. I'm using chicken breast for today's recipe, and I'm cutting against the grain and creating these long, thin pieces. If you're using a whole chicken breast, make sure you cut the chicken in half so it's a little bit thinner before cutting the long strips. After I cut it, it's about 1 cup worth of sliced chicken, and that is equivalent to about 12 ounces worth of chicken. You really can do more if you want. If it was up to my little sister, it would all be just protein and no veggies. So in a separate mixing bowl, you'll want to mix together all the components for the sauce. So we'll have 2 tablespoons worth of sugar, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce, 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce, 1 tablespoon of Chinese cooking sherry or Shaoxing wine. If you don't have that, go ahead and use water to substitute, and then 1 teaspoon worth of sesame oil, and then 1 teaspoon of pepper. This sauce might seem super complex, but I've actually pared it down and made it more manageable for home cooks. It's not the exact same recipe that I grew up with. The sauce that my mom makes is actually extremely complex, so try to simplify it as much as I could, but it will still be super delicious and make an awesome lo mein sauce. So in a large pot of boiling water, you'll want to cook your noodles according to the package, and then we'll drain it in a little bit. Ideally, you'll want to use Chinese egg noodles for the lo mein, but I didn't have time to go to store to get egg noodles, so I just use a thin spaghetti. But we'll want to boil that and then drain it really well to make the lo mein. So in a large skillet or a wok, heat up some vegetable oil or some sort of cooking oil on high heat and add in garlic and the chicken, and you'll want to stir fry that together until the chicken is cooked through before adding the vegetables. So I like to add the carrots in first, get that cooked down a little bit before adding the celery and broccoli, but all together you'll want to kind of combine that. You don't see me cooking the chicken because I actually forgot to film that part, but go ahead, cook the chicken all the way through, and then add in your vegetables and kind of stir fry it up. I realized that my pan was feeling a bit crowded, so I decided to split up my stir fry into 2 separate batches. You might have noticed me earlier removing some of the veggies and chicken, I'm saving that for the other half of the noodles. You want to make sure you do not overcrowd the pan because you want to be able to thoroughly coat your noodles with the sauce and allow for the pan to char the bottom of your noodles. It adds a nice aroma to the noodles and gives it a really nice flavor. But go ahead and toss your noodles with the lo mein sauce. Add as much or as little as you like. I prefer my lo mein to be a bit lighter, but most people like their lo mein a bit saucier, so please feel free to adjust the sauce level to your taste. You will want to finish the lo mein with the long green onion pieces and add a nice drizzle of sesame oil to complete the dish. Remember to taste test it before serving it in case you want to add a bit more lo mein sauce. And there you have it, easy, tasty, restaurant quality lo mein at home. This is something that I crave all the time and love to make for myself whenever I miss home in the restaurant. Check out the picture later in my video of my second batch of lo mein. My husband wanted his lo mein with a bit more sauce, so I tossed it in some extra sauce. You can really see the difference in color with the noodles. If you liked this video, please hit the like and subscribe button to my channel. I'll be sharing a new video every week, but let me know what you think in the comments below, and happy cooking!